Good morning, students. So today I am going to take your alternative English class. So in her video, Joyshri ma'am in the introductory video has already introduced you with the syllabus of alternative English class. So what you will have in your syllabus, we have only four prose and 4 poetry. That is all for your syllabus, and some tag questions will be there. So I want you to know that how you should study alternative English as a subject, because in school you have 2 books, right? One for grammar or one for literature part, where you have prose pieces, poetry and all, and you also call a textbook, and these are the 2 section that you got for English. So what we have in our alternative English class, that the text portion. Here we have prose pieces, poetry, and while writing your alternative English questions or while writing your text question, any of English or alternative English, you have to keep your mind open. You have to enhance your imagination, broaden your imagination or thinking capacity, and have to write something different, something very independent. What I have taught you, you need to add something from you, and also you need to enhance your thinking capacity and add something in your answer with your independent thinking. Alternative English as a subject, like we have poems, proses. So when you are dealing with poems and proses, you have to make different interpretations. Like I am writing here 2 quotations, very simple quotation. One is, water, water everywhere, and all the broads did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. So this is a line from, this is a very famous line from Coleridge's Ancient Mariner. So, rhyme of an ancient mariner. So in this is a very simple point. So someone is searching for water. So, but as a student of literature, as a student of English literature, studying alternative English, you have to think differently. These lines also talking about human unattainability. So here we are writing, so how human unattainability. So here water is everywhere. You can see this is also figurative. Like we have water in everywhere. But how much portion of water, how much percent of water we can drink. So this is called human unattainability. We have many common things around. We have simple things around, but we cannot achieve everything. So there will be many multiple interpretation of these quotes. So I am also writing another quote, that is, for man may come, man may go, but I go on forever. So this is a line from the Brook. So Brook is a poem by Alfred Tennyson. So here he is talking that man may come, manu hahe, man may go, manu jai, but I go on forever. Something about that I is representing something, that he is go forever. Here I is representing nature, and Tennyson, the poem is talking about that our life, man's life, is transitory in comparison to nature, which go on forever. Nature will be live forever, but we will go one day, we will die one day. So this is referring to the transitoriness of man's life and the eternal life of nature. So these are now like that wise we can have multiple interpretation of many things, prose, lines, even a simple line like a line from Hamlet, to be or not to be. just a simple line, but that is talking about our life, that philosophical line, that what to do with our life, to do what it is or not to do. So these are the lines which looks very simple, but you have to layer it with your multiple interpretation. So the poem we are going to do today is The Daffodil, a very easy poem. Do not get afraid. We will go very slow because this is an online class, I know. So do not get afraid. Let's see how many stanza we can do. If we can do one stanza, that is also good. So do it attentively. So the poem we are going to do today, The Daffodil by William Wordsworth. So before going into the poem, you should know something about the author, about the poet, right? Because in our text also we have given a brief description about author. So William Wordsworth belongs to the Romantic age of poetry, along with other poets like Keats, Byron, and Shelley. So these poets, what they do, they talk about nature and common people. They always, their poetry, their writings are based on nature and common people. So, Wordsworth poems. So, along with other romantic poetry or other romantic poets, likewise, Wordsworth poem is also highly dependent on nature and common people. So, coming back to Wordsworth, so mainly Wordsworth's poetry are close to nature. He is often seen as a nature poet. So, Wordsworth's, we come across a very famous definition about poetry from Wordsworth. That is, poetry is something that is recollected in tranquility. So, Wordsworth believes that we can write poetry from the feelings that we recollected in tranquility. That is why most of his poems are penned down from his memories. He see an event or like a beautiful or not beautiful things somewhere in the past, and he then write it down in much later days. So these things, these lines, emotion recollected in tranquility is mostly followed by Wordsworth, and we can see in the Daffodils as well. He presents the scenery of daffodils, which he experienced much before he wrote the poem. Sorry. So I want to read the first stanza, that is, I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Besides the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So this is the first stanza. So here, I wandered lonely as a cloud. Here poet is comparing himself with the cloud. Here poet is using the technique of simile. Here poet is comparing himself with a cloud, and he is wandering over the vales. Here vales means valleys, which is vale is the old English form of valley. So poet is a cloud, and poet was a cloud. He is wandering over the vales, over the various hills and mountains. And what happened? He came across a scene. He saw a crowd of whom? He saw a crowd of golden daffodils. So daffodils is a golden colored little flower which is very beautiful. So while poet was wandering lonely over the vales and the hills, he came across a scene where he saw a beautiful gathering of golden daffodils. So where he saw them? He saw them beside the lake. beneath the trees, and what they were doing, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Here again poet uses the technique of personification. Personification where the poet is comparing the daffodils with a lively human being which is fluttering and dancing along with the breeze. So in the first paragraph, in the first stanza, in poetry we call it stanza, so I'm repeatedly saying it paragraph. So in the first stanza, poet is presenting his lonely state of mind where he was thinking of a very lovely scene of daffodils, and he was comparing himself with a cloud which is wandering over the hills and the fields and enjoying the scene of fluttering and dancing daffodils. So that is the things that are in our first stanza. So moi homiato ebar koi disu. So poet ki hoise yat, poet was wandering mane ki poet ghuri furise. Poet nijok kihor logot compare korise, nijok cloudor logot etukura daoror logot compare korise ji akashot okole okole ghuri fure. Poet nijok daoror logot compare kori june paharor uporot ভ্যালিবোৰৰ গাঁৱৰ বিভিন্ন গাঁৱৰ ওপৰে ঘুৰি ফুৰি গোটেই পৃথিৱীখন মানে ঘুৰি থাকে, নোটিস কৰি থাকে, সেই ডাৱৰ টুকুৰাৰ লগত পোয়েটে নিজকে কম্পেয়াৰ কৰিছে। তাৰ পিছত পোয়েটে কি কৰিছে, ঘুৰি থাকোতে বিভিন্ন সিনৰ মানে দেখে, তেওঁ বিভিন্ন সিনৰ এনকাউন্টাৰ হয়। তেনেকুৱাতে এদিন এটা সিনৰ এনকাউন্টাৰ হ'ল যে দেখিলে এখন হালধীয়া গোল্ডেন কালাৰৰ ডেফোডিলৰ ক্রাউড দেখিলে। ক্রাউড মানে আমি ইনে মানুহৰ ক্রাউড দেখো, জুম বুলি কওঁ অসমীয়াত। এতিয়া জুমটো কিহৰ আছিলে, গোল্ডেন ডেফোডিলছৰ। সো গোল্ডেন ডেফোডিলছৰ জুমটোৱে তেওঁক বাৰুকৈ এট্ৰেক্ট কৰিলে, আৰু তেওঁ ওচৰ চাপি গ'ল, দেখিলে যে গোল্ডেন ডেফোডিলছ বিলাক ক'ত আছিল, লেকৰ কিনাৰত য'ত গছ গছনি আছিল তাতে গোল্ডেন ডেফোডিলছ বিলাক আছিল। আৰু গোল্ডেন ডেফোডিলছ বিলাকে এটা ধুনীয়া সিন, ধুনীয়া মানে এটা এনভায়ৰনমেন্ট ক্ৰিয়েট কৰি থৈছিল, আৰু হেতুৱে বহুত মানে পোয়েটক এট্ৰেক্ট কৰিলে। আৰু এনেকে এট্ৰেক্ট কৰি তেওঁ বহুতে সিনটো মানে চালে। তাৰ পিছত তেওঁ আকৌ গোল্ডেন ডেফোডিলছক কিহৰ লগত মিলাইছে, কেনেকে আছে বুলি কৈছে যে ফ্লাটাৰিং মানে কি, এনেকে উৰি থকা, এণ্ড ডান্স কৰি আছে, ফ্লাটাৰিং আৰু মানে পাখি মাৰি আছে, ডান্স কৰি আছে, এনেকে যেনেকে লাইভলি হিউমেন বিং, লাইভলি বস্তু বাটাৰফ্লাই এটাই ফ্লাটাৰিং আৰু ডান্সিং কৰি আছে, তেনেকে গোল্ডেন ডেফোডিলছও কৰি আছে। সো মই আজি অকল এটা ষ্টেঞ্জা বুজাইছো, ফাৰ্ষ্ট ষ্টেঞ্জাটো বুজাইছো। তোমালোকে এই ষ্টেঞ্জাটো যোৱা, এতিয়া কি পোয়েটিক টেকনিক পালো, আমি ৱৰ্ডছৰ বিষয়ে চাব লাগিব। তোমালোকে দেন চাব লাগিব, ইউ হেভ টু গো থ্ৰু দ্য পোয়েটিক টেকনিক্স অফ সিমিলি এণ্ড পাৰ্চনিফিকেশ্যন। হোৱাট ইজ সিমিলি আৰু হোৱাট ইজ পাৰ্চনিফিকেশ্যন, এই দুটা পোয়েটিক টেকনিকৰ বিষয়ে জানিলো, এই দুটাৰ বিষয়ে চাবা। সো সেইকেইটাই আমি ক্লাছত ডিছকাছ কৰিম, আৰু কিবা ডাউট থাকিলে আকৌ এইখিনি তোমালোকে মোৰ লগত ডিছকাছ কৰিবা।